I've failed so many takes that I no longer have any Mountain Dew. And this is the first bottle of Voltage I found in like 6 months. But today, I'm going to be talking about the movie I saw last night, which was The Batman. It was a decent movie. It was a bit too long. I went and saw it with my brother and one of his friends. 3 hours is way too long to sit still in a theater chair. My brother sitting next to me was changing his position on his recliner like every 2 minutes, which was kind of ridiculous after hour 2. I've been doing a lot of Batman-themed stuff on the channel right now with all the Arkham stuff that I'm going to be putting up soon. I don't really know what I'm doing with this channel right now. I just thought because I had a ton of time during spring break, I was just going to put some stuff up, especially since I've had this Arkham series project planned for a while. I'm going to do this Batman review because it's Batman-themed, and it's nice to precede episode 2 of the Arkham series. I'm going to start with my negative thoughts first because I have quite a few of those, but then I'm going to end this with my positives on the movie. I'm going to try and keep this under 10 minutes because I don't want to waste your guys' time with my rattling and opinions. So, I'm going to just jump right into it. The immediate thing I noticed while watching this movie is that no one calls him Batman. Even Batman only calls himself Batman once in the entire film. I don't know, I kind of feel like it's a bit disrespectful to just neglect calling him Batman. Especially since him and Jim Gordon are friends. Him not calling him Batman kind of feels off. And I don't care about the casting. Like, race changes don't bother me too much if it's good acting. I thought it was good acting, but I thought it was pretty decent acting, to be completely honest. But, I don't know, they didn't give too much depth to the whole Gordon situation. They didn't set him up as not liking Batman at first. He was just immediate friends with Batman. And I know this has been like a whole, it's Batman, he's been Batman for 2 years, he's been with Jim Gordon for a little while now. But, the rest of the police force kind of feels like how Jim Gordon should have been towards Batman after he even figured out he existed. Because Jim Gordon, in every other canon, kind of denies the existence of Batman until he runs into him. And even then, he doesn't like Batman at all for a while. Even if he works with Batman, he doesn't like Batman too much. And I feel like that was the director's feelings towards Batman at all, because they kind of just replace his name with Vengeance, which kind of removes a lot of the depth towards the Batman character. It just boils him down to rich guy punches mentally ill. You know, the meme. Oh, which is a pretty funny explanation, but it's not one that I like to take seriously. Batman character has a lot of depth, and I really like Batman, so it's kind of weird to see Batman kind of disrespected and boiled down to dude just wants revenge. That's kind of my first point. Another point is they kind of failed to grow this plot line that they started in like the very end of the second act that bled into the rest of the movie. With not even the rest of the movie, it was like a 5-minute scene afterwards. They tried to kickstart the Sins of the Fathers plot, which in and of itself should have been its own film. To be completely honest, it should have been like its own standalone thing, because I've got a book that I read a while back called Wayne of Gotham, which touched on this, and it did a pretty good job with it. It didn't make any weird like suggestions or political things, and it wasn't black or white as to whether or not Thomas Wayne did some bad things. But they made Bruce pretty naive for like 5 minutes to immediately believe Falcone, who's a lying mob boss. His entire job is to lie to people and get more money in his pockets, right? That's how they explained him anyway. And then he immediately goes to trusting Alfred just because it's Alfred, which kind of doesn't make too much sense. Um, they resolve the whole thing in 5 minutes, and they make it black or white as to whether or not he was good. But then they also disrespect him by calling him stupid for being a medical doctor that treated Falcone and then took up Falcone's offer that he owed him. And I'm not gonna explain what happened when he owed him, but it just makes him sound like he had Falcone go murk some dude for him during a political thing. Okay, so they also didn't put too much depth to the corrupt forces of Gotham. Every Batman story talks about the corrupt dudes of Gotham, and they make them a very wide variety of people who have very deep, dark backstories, who have very serious reasons for being in these mob bosses' money pools, being paid by these dudes to do their bidding. Usually like blackmail and all this other dark stuff. In this movie, they just boil it down to a bunch of dudes who just like money. They want more money. That's it. That's all they want in this movie. More money. That's why they work for this dude. And that's just on a first watch. I could probably go back and find some characters with a little bit of depth. But yeah. I didn't particularly like who they picked to play Alfred. Not because he's a weird dude in real life. I don't know anything about the dude in real life. But he didn't feel very Alfred-like. He was just the British dude they put in the film, and that's about as far as it goes. I guess he was a good act, but I didn't really like it too much because he wasn't Alfred Pennyworth. He was dude speaking in a British accent that works for Batman. I don't know how to feel about what they did to Riddler. To be completely honest, it was well played out. The whole Riddler plot, which was the entire point of the film, the main plot. And you're allowed to disagree with me on everything, but I don't really know how to feel about Riddler being a sort of Batman praiser. And I guess if it's just super early on, he can be. But I personally, in everything I've ever seen, Riddler's either really, really wacky, or he's just mentally ill, and his entire shtick is that he's the smartest guy according to himself.
And vanquish with but one of my cerebral lobes intact. Yet here you are, proposing an alliance that would let you bask in my luminescent glory.
If anyone's smarter than him, they're lying or they need to be dead. And that's how he kind of has his beef with Batman. Batman is a super smart dude and is great at everything. And Riddler thinks that he's a fake, or he's a fraud, or he has to be smarter than Batman, and he has to prove that Batman is stupid at some point, somewhere. So, them making him praise Batman's intelligence kind of feels off for the Riddler as a character, but I don't know, they did pretty decently with it. And I honestly thought that, like, the performances from people like the Penguin were pretty good. And the fact that with all the prosthetics and makeup, you couldn't even recognize who was playing the Penguin was kind of cool. I also didn't like the fact that it was the Joker that was revealed to be the next kind of villain. I would have preferred anyone else. Joker's a bit overused right now. The fighting and the choreography were really awesome. Like, all the fight scenes were really good. They really nailed how Batman fights. But just to cap off the whole corrupt Gotham thing could have gone a lot better if they were true to being apolitical about it. Just apolitical as in, not trying to induce any sort of politics. White privilege. And it's just weird to try and jam it into my Batman movie. Like, come on. Like, the setting and design was amazing. The attention to detail and the fact that it was all built in VR, and then the director went in to see if there were any problems or if it would feel good. It was actually a pretty cool detail I didn't really realize until I like read up on some of this stuff. Um, it felt like a dingy detective film, which I kind of like for a Batman because it was like they really leaned into the rainy setting and the soft oranges and the really dark settings. It felt like how you would kind of imagine Gotham City being, to be um, super upfront about it. I give the costumes and sets like a 9 out of 10. Give the plot like a two out of 10. There are some things that could be fixed, some places that could have been picked up. I give the acting a 5 out of 10 because half the cast was actually pretty good. The casting is like a 7 out of 10. Good most places. Weird some other places. Overall, a 23 out of 40, which is an F plus, which sounds like a horrible movie, but it's not horrible, but it's just kind of off for me. Wouldn't watch it again, to be completely honest. Um, I don't know. I really like Batman, so I'm kind of biased towards liking things that include Batman. So I didn't think too much about some of the lesser plot points. Feel free to disagree with me. Tell me what you thought of it. And I know this is like all based off of a one-time viewership of the movie, so I barely remember some things unless I took note of it, right? I wrote down in my phone some things afterwards, my immediate thoughts, and I kind of just put them back down into a notebook so I could record this. Um, Episode 2 of the Arkham series is coming out on Monday, and I hope that you all have a great day.